Bang, bang, guys. We are back. Liquidation Motivation one more time with another interview for the WHSL Marketplace, which is happening April 21st and 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky. You better make sure you get down there. You better make sure you meet everybody that we interviewed on these channels, because connections are everything in this business, guys. Today we have a fantastic interview, guys. We have Shivang from Commerce Central here. Welcome to the stage there, Shivang. Welcome to the show.
Tom, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be with you right now.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. Now, we've had some dealings in the past, so I've known you for a little while now. But for the people that don't know you, who is Shivang?
Yeah, I'm originally from India. I came to the US in 2015 for my master's degree. Right after my master's degree, I went to work for FedEx. From there, I worked for Amazon for about 7 years. I'm a tech product manager by profession. I'm on the side. I love to play golf. I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of liquidation and reselling as a business. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I can deep dive into any area you'd like to.
Okay, so what did you do at Amazon?
Yeah, so my last role at Amazon was head of data products for Amazon Prime. And my role was around personalizing the experience that we see on Amazon.com. So when we go on Amazon, you would have noticed that you would see the products that you were shopping previously. You would see the products that have will actually resonate with you. So if you're into golf or into skiing, you will see a lot of ski products. If you're watching some shows, that shows would pop up and be like, hey, Tom, do you want to continue watching that show? So my role essentially was to make sure that more and more Prime customers get acquired. The ones that have already been acquired stay engaged by buying more and more products and give Amazon more and more business. And the ones that are already shopping, how to make sure that they continue paying that annual subscription. So my role was acquire, engage, and retain Prime customers. And I used to build multiple technology products around it. So personalization was one of the things. The other was like targeting. So how do I find the 1,000 customers who would be a best fit for a private showing of Jack Ryan in LA, and why would those customers be the best customers to get a private showing based on factors like, hey, they're the most engaged, hey, they have the biggest network and whatnot. So my role was around using technology to help Amazon do more and more business. And in that process, I built 7-8 different products for Amazon. I managed teams which were situated in more than 22 countries. And it was an amazing job. But again, my calling was business. I come from a business background. My parents from the 1970s have been into the trade business. So they've been importing and exporting out of India into US, Europe for a while. And I technically don't remember a day in my life growing up when I didn't see brown boxes in my own bedroom. So come from a very business work ethic family, where even lunch conversations and dinner table conversations were about, where are products going, where are products coming from, who has paid, who has not paid. So for me, that was my calling always. And that's what propelled me to leave the career at Amazon, a tech career at Amazon, to get into this space. And I have loved every day of it.
Yeah. So
actually, not every day of it. Some days were bad, but yes.
No, you're right. I get it. So you took the leap of faith from a really good job at Amazon to say, hey, I think that I can make an impact on an industry, and you chose the liquidation industry. So tell me, before you tell me about your company, tell me what is the roadmap that you said, hey, I'm sure a high 6-figure, 7, whatever you're making at Amazon, and then you're going to go into be an entrepreneur, go into that world. What's the roadmap for you to get there?
Yeah, definitely. So in January 2024, Amazon and other tech companies were going through a lot of layoffs. And during that time, I lost 2-3 members of my own team without my own role being played into it. And during that same time, my manager asked me, can you put together like a one-pager of what have you done for the company? Which is another way of saying, why should we keep you around? And during that time, as I was kind of writing that paper and kind of calculating in the last 7 years, what have I actually driven in terms of money? I crossed about $500 million worth of incremental revenue to Amazon through my work of 7 years. And that's when my thought came that, hey, if I can drive this company this much money and I haven't even seen 1% of it in my own bank balance, I might as well go out and try my own business and make at least, that some amount of money more than what I already had. So that was my motivation to leave that career, because I realized I'm good at something and I'm getting underpaid for it. At the same time, now I'm losing my team members as well as getting questioned for my own role. So that's when I decided that, all right, I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to find a different avenue. So having been in the tech career whole of my 7-8 years at Amazon, and before that I was a bit sick of tech companies and tech as a job. So I'm going to try a operations role, or I'm going to try an operations company. So I started a third-party logistics company, which was completely different than I ever did. So that was the first time I actually saw what a forklift looked like, a pallet jack looks like, and rented a facility in Round Rock, Texas. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to do manual work. This is what I'm going to do, and build a small business from the ground up. So I was running that third-party logistics company. As I was running that company, cash was tight. There's a lot of competition in the 3PL world. Brands don't pay on time. So I was having some cash flow issues. And my next door neighbor was in the liquidation business. I was like, you always get these random pallets and I don't know what you do with them. So I just got curious that, some days you're fixing pianos, some days you're, you have you're ironing clothes. So I was like, what kind of a business is this which has these kind of inventory? So I asked him, and he was like, this is liquidation business, you should definitely try it. I was like, yeah, let me try it, because I was having cash flow issues, and the way he described it was like, hey, you can double your money, you can triple your money. I was like, okay, let me order some products and try doing it. When I was flipping small inventories, it was okay. But one time I got I ordered headphones worth $20,000 from someone in Houston, and they just vanished off the grid, basically. So I mean, that was a big hit to me, and I was like, all right, where did my money go? And I came from a very trusting background, right? Coming from technology, you're like, hey, everyone does what they're supposed to do. There's no one trying to cheat. And especially in America, coming from India, I knew that things are not as straightforward in India. But in America, people, do always right by you. So that was a big shock to my system, having lost that much money. I was already running short on cash. And I was like, okay, I might have to go find a job again. But that's when the idea for this liquidation platform that we are building came up, that, hey, the system itself is rigged. You're trusting a middleman who's trusting a middleman who's trusting a middleman who's trusting a middleman to find your inventory source. So that's when the idea for Commerce Central came up, that, hey, I have a technology background. Sure, I lost that money, but I got an idea out of it that, hey, this is a gap, because I saw Reddit and other places where it's not just me. People get thugged in this industry almost every day. So I just felt that this is a good gap to build a marketplace and a business in. And that's where the idea for Commerce Central came across. It came from a buyer's perspective, that as a buyer, you're always struggling to find good inventory, and you hardly ever get what you're promised.
All right, so you decide to get into the liquidation industry. You get scammed one of your first loads. So then you come up with the idea of Commerce Central. Why don't you tell everybody what Commerce Central is?
Yeah, Commerce Central is a controlled e-commerce marketplace for brands, retailers, and 3PLs to recirculate their excess inventory, returned inventory, distressed inventory to vetted buyers. So in a nutshell, it's just a seller-buyer matching platform where sellers, being brands who are sitting on a lot of returned inventory, distressed inventory that they want to get rid of, and connected to buyers in the secondary markets, like a bin store owner, an eBay reseller, or a Whatnot live seller, and buy that. And so connecting those two parties to be able to do fair business with each other. So you can think of it as an Amazon business, just for a liquidation wholesale inventory coming out of these big retailers and brands.
Right. Okay. So what then differentiate you from a B-Stock or a liquidation.com, those kind of platforms?
Yeah, so B-Stock and the other platforms are more like spray and pray approach. They would list everything that they get from the retailer on their marketplaces, and anyone and everyone can buy that inventory. But in our case, our value proposition is control on both sides. So the retailer and the brands are able to decide what kind of a buyer can buy our inventory. So they get to decide, okay, I don't want to sell it to an Amazon reseller, or I do want to sell it to a bin store owner. I don't want to sell it to somebody who would start competing with me itself on eBay. Second kind of control they can put it, they have to be geographically located in these locations to be able to shop my loads. They can also decide what is the minimum pricing the buyer would have to pay in order to procure these loads. Whereas at Bstock and other platforms, it's about bidding. You literally start from the rock bottom, and then you pay like in jacked up shipping on top of it, and then you pay buyer premiums on top of it. Whereas in our case, it's more like the brand and the retailer sets a fixed price based on the recoveries that they're expecting, based on the recoveries that they've seen in their wholesale market, and then based on that, we match them to the buyer. So it's a bit of a different boutique way of doing it, where as a buyer, you're only seeing that which is relevant to you, what you're eligible to be able to resell into your market. And as a brand or a retailer, you're getting the control of exactly who's even seeing my inventory or buying my inventory.
Tell me about the brands. So you deal a lot with brands. Why do brands struggle with moving their excess merchandise?
Moving excess inventory is not part of their core business. They are in the business of selling items to businesses. So they're more in the forward flow of thing, whereas moving distressed inventory and excess inventory is reverse flow, which is never part of their core business. So they always look to outsource who exactly can take care of it for them. That is part of the reason why they struggle. The reason that they are now seeing more and more distressed inventory in their facilities is the return rates that are increasing. So back in 2019, the return rates were 8-9%, but now they're about 17% right after COVID. So it's just the scale of the problem has grown percentage wise double, so from 18 to 16. But in terms of volume, because even e-commerce has increased, people have started returning more. From $200 billion, it's right now around $890 billion worth of return goods sitting. So they never saw this as a problem back in like 5 years ago, but now it has increased so much that they are now catching up. You would see a lot of brands coming up with their own resale programs where they'd be like, hey, I'll start selling my used goods myself, or I'll set up on a platform like Commerce Central or Bstock or other places. So brands are quickly realizing that they need to do something about it, because it's now started to eat into their margins. But not a lot of controllable ways exist for them to be able to do that, and that's what we're trying to change.
Yeah. So how can Commerce Central help the smaller buyers out there? If somebody wants to buy one pallet or something, let's say they're a whatnot seller, something along that lines, how can you guys help a whatnot seller?
So we list all our inventory. So whenever we get excess inventory or distressed inventory from brands, we try to analyze it and see what is the best segmentation that we can do so that it can be easily moved. So sometimes we'll take a truckload, we'll convert that into 6 pallets, 2 pallets, 3 pallets, 12 pallets, and then see which is moving the needle for the brand. So a 1 pallet would get higher recovery, a 3 would get a little lower, a 6 would get a little lower, and a truckload would get the lowest. But we do it that way so that a brand is able to kind of directly reach to the end customer. So a whatnot seller in most cases is buying from a middleman, who's buying from a middleman, who's buying from a middleman, who's buying from a direct contract holders. But in our case, we look at it that, hey, how can we connect the two parties, like the one who is actually trying to sell and the one who's actually going to buy eventually. So we break the truckloads into smaller quantities so that even a whatnot seller can buy directly for the brand. So if you go to our platform, you'd see a lot more 2 pallet, 3 pallet LTL loads versus the full truckloads, because we are trying to cater to the small businesses versus the middlemen who buy for the wholesale.
All right, so this is the Commerce Central platform here. Tell me a little bit about it there.
So this is the test account, so everything is selected, but I'll just as a small business owner, you could be like, I just sell on reseller marketplaces. So you set up where do you exactly sell, which regions do you want to buy from. So somebody can decide, okay, I just want to pick up loads which are close to me because I want to optimize shipping. Or you can even say that I don't care, I can pick up from everywhere. So you're able to kind of set that up. You're able to set up what categories you want to sell, buy. So it could be like, all right, I'm just an electronics reseller, I only need to see electronics. what brands do you prefer? So you can even select, okay, these are the brands that I'm looking for to buy from the platform. So they can set up that as well. And they can even set up the budget. They can say, all right, my budget is just, I'll just put 10,000. So that way, if someone's looking for a truckload, they can make it more than 10,000, and all they will see on the platform is a truckload, and they won't see anything lower. But if it's the opposite, they can do that as well. They can also set up like what kind of listings do they want to do. Do they want to take part in auctions, or do they want to do offer based? So based on that, they can set up their preferences, and their entire experience would change. So in our case, we are not showing everyone everything. We are only showing you what is relevant to you. So you're not wasting your time going through thousands of listings trying to find out the best deal for yourself. We do that automatically for you. So like, just because I changed it, now you would see that my experience has changed over here. First thing we do is, because you sell on reseller, you're a reseller. So only deals that are eligible for reselling are available here. So what you're seeing here is essentially based on this particular preference board. So let me select Amazon and Walmart. Like I sell on Amazon and Walmart. And then all you would see is the deals that are valid to be resold on Amazon and Walmart. So you would find closeout loads, you would find lots, you would find auctions. But let's just go into one of them to kind of show you how it looks like. So this is the consumer electronic load. They would come here, they can estimate shipping. So like I'm in Pflugerville, this load also is in Pflugerville right now in our facility. So it would show a lower number, but if you're in a different location, you can change the address, and then it would kind of tell you exactly how much the load would cost. So if you change the address over here, you would get that particular piece of information. You get how many units are in there, number of pallets, if the packaging was opened, what was the source, where is it coming from. So you don't have to guess what the source is. You're getting you're getting where exactly it's coming from. And then you have a complete manifest of what exactly is in that load, what is the retail price of it. So you don't have to do your own mathematics of what exactly would be the retail value for it. You can download this manifest. You can get shipping information, what is the weight of it, all of those things, additional information there. So that's like one kind of listings that we have, where we have mixed truckloads. We also have closeout loads, where you're just looking at customizing and making your own order. So these are brand new products where you could be like, all right, I don't want to buy this entire, but I'd buy just 300 of these units, and I'm not willing to offer $2. I just want to make an offer of $1 for it, and you can add that to the offer.
So you can make offers.
Like, okay, I'll take these. Yeah, you can make offers in there, and you can essentially be like, all right, let me just try 20 of these. So you've built your offer. You have to at least have a minimum. As a seller, can decide, hey, at least $1,000 offer is what I need. So it'll automatically tell me that, hey, your total offer is $460, right? So it won't let me submit it because it will say the asking price at least is like $1,000. So maybe I'll change this one and be like, all right, let me buy 1,000 of them then. And then I can submit that offer. That offer would automatically go to the seller. And then you can see that offer. You can even see this offer like in your own portal. So just like we shop on Amazon, that's the experience we're trying to create. We're trying to make it easy for someone to shop in liquidation loads and wholesale loads, just like they shop on Amazon. So they can go to their portal, they can see what offers they've made. So this was the one we just made. So they can see, all right, the next step would be just waiting to hear back from the buyer, and you'll be able to bid it. If you've made bids, you can see your bids as well. Your orders would come in here, so you can see what orders you've placed. So just like we shop on Amazon, this would kind of give you that kind of an idea. What's cool about our platform is like how you make, when you make an offer. Let's assume you want to make an offer on these. Because I know a lot of business owners, they work out of Excels, and they like the ability to be able to do their own mathematics in Excel, what they can do in our platform is just essentially, let's assume they added all of it, they want to make an offer, they can export this offer into a sheet, and this sheet would automatically look like a very customized Excel for them. So they get an ability to see everything in an Excel properly, do their own analysis. We always have the MSRPs in there already. Yeah, so this is exactly what I was talking about. This essentially, they get the entire sheet, they get the category, the variant, what the seller is offering for, and you can make if you don't want to work through an Excel or through a platform, you can essentially come here and be like, okay, I'll take 1,000 of these, and I won't offer 50 cents. I'll just offer 50 cents for it. And that will automatically change the offer here. And once you've done that, you can just click on this button. It will automatically upload it back to the seller. So you don't really have to come to the platform either. You can just get an Excel, do your mathematics, and be like, all right, I'll just submit the offer from here. So we have made the platform for flexibility. We want to make it easier for somebody to be able to shop and to have all the clarity they need. They can shop by condition, what kind of a condition they're looking for.
Yeah, wow, that's different. Nobody else does it this way. Yeah, can you hear me? Esteban, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You're
lagging. You're lagging to me a little bit. I don't know. But I think once we do the upload, that'll go away. So, all right. I mean, this is revolutionary. Nobody else has a website where you can make offers, where you can have this flexibility in the website, and you don't mark up the shipping. So those are some of the things that I find really unique on your website versus everybody else.
Yeah, and we give the flexibility for someone to choose their own shipping as well, which I think is missing from most platforms out there, who force you to pay shipping. And you would have seen that there was no buyer premium there. So there is no buyer premium either. It's just that from the buyer's perspective, you're not paying anything to us. We are making our money through the seller and not through the buyer. So whatever the buyer is seeing is what the seller is offering it for. We've also built, recently, I think, Tom, on your feedback, we built this AI pricing tool where somebody is able to, upload manifests and get what is the fair pricing of these manifests. So if somebody is like, I want to get a, let me see if I can find a file, but I think, this one might work. So someone is able to kind of upload, see, okay, what is my identifier? I want to find out if I'm paying the fair value for it. They can come, even if they don't want to shop from us, they can basically come to our platform and be like, all right, can I at least find out if whoever I'm paying, am I paying a fair price or not? So all you'll have to tell us in your sheets would be, let's assume this is the sheet that you have, which is the retail column, which is the offer price column, and we would analyze it against the ASIN number and see, okay, what exactly is the number. So let me go back to the platform. Yeah, so you can select that. You can tell us where exactly you're buying it from. I'm just going to select the first one, but sometimes this information is something which helps us decide if the load itself is valid or not, because just like you were mentioning anecdotally, sometimes it doesn't make any sense that for Amazon loads to be in Miami or something like that. So then you can also say what is the offer, what is the asking price, and then where you're getting it from. Are you getting from a direct supplier? You're getting from one of the major platforms, and then go about that. So you can say, all right, I'm getting it from. You can even upload images to kind of see. So it's just essentially to kind of help us let you decide whether you're paying the fair prices or not. So once it's submitted, you can start looking at, all right, am I paying too much for any load? So, what the output looks like, so I'll show you an output of an existing running analysis that I did. I think the streaming and the uploading is slowing down my system as well. But yeah, essentially, like somebody can be like, hey, this is the manifest I got. This is the quantities that I've been offered. What is the price that you like input price with respect to what is the MSRP they're quoting and what is the price that actually exists. So the system automatically, so instead of one person going through hundreds of ASINs and trying to find the right price for them, we'll pull that up for you, and then you can kind of use that back into your analysis. So that way you don't have to guess what you're paying. MSRP is such a made up concept where what matters is the current price of what it is listed on Amazon for, or like anywhere else for. So that way, like we try to ensure that the buyers can be satisfied that they have fair pricing. It's coming from trustworthy sellers, and everything is transparent with respect to photos, with respect to what exactly is offered in the load, where is it coming from, how much would it cost. So upfront, just like we shop on Amazon with satisfaction and like assurance that, hey, nothing is going to go wrong, we're trying to bring that same experience to the e-commerce world, where giving them all the information up front and then holding ourselves accountable to deliver on that is how we kind of provide a good experience to buyers.
I'm going to tell you that I think this is huge. There is nobody doing this. There's nobody having this kind of transparency in the market, and I don't trust any manifest, and it makes such a big difference. It makes such a big difference to a buyer like me, knowing that I can trust that somebody, and I might have to run somebody else's manifest through 1 or 2 times where I know they're a trusted person, but I know there's people out there inflating manifests and overcharging for their product and really being dishonest. And this kind of this tool takes that away from the industry. I think this is exceptional. It's a game changer.
Well, thanks, Tom. Like coming from you, it really it gives us the motivation that we're on the right path. But yeah, like ultimately we're trying to add fair pricing, trust, and transparency to this entire ecosystem, which is sometimes missing. And adding that, sometimes humans are not the best people to be able to ensure those 3 pillars. You need to build technology that makes sure that, hey, even if someone has bad intentions, they would not be able to slip through the crack, because you need to have manifests. We will do our own validation on what the pricing is. We would validate which location is it coming from, which buyer is it coming from, what pricing you're offering. At the same time, giving that same experience that people build in emails, right? Like sending somebody an offer, accepting an offer, not having to compete with hundreds and hundreds of people on auctions, versus just being able to, I'll make a private offer and see if the person takes it.
Yeah, that's revolutionary. Commerce Central is going to lead the industry. I mean, just all the forward thinking. I guess your experience and all the tech and everything has really excelled Commerce Central over the other sites, which, I mean, I just feel like I rarely get a good deal or a good load or a profitable load out of them. And this just takes the guesswork out of it. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. Super excited about it. All right.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I mean, in many cases, our loads would not be, they might not sound the cheapest on one go, because they actually exist. So they're not to kind of, reel people in, but to tell them the reality of what is the recovery that a brand is looking for. And this is exactly what they're looking for it and why they're looking for it versus. So they might not be the cheapest loads on the market, but you get a full dispute process as well as reliability that whatever I'm buying is what I'm going to get, because, brands and retailers, they are very good with dispute processes. They don't want to haggle small buyers and business owners. It's the processors and the middlemen in the middle who sometimes come up with their own resale policies and dispute processes. But if you directly talk to a brand, they want to do fair and good business with anyone who would want to do it with them.
Yeah. If I can share one of I just bought a truckload for $26,000. It happens to be the same price of the load I got scammed on, but from one of the largest online sellers and in it was like 1,000 things of ink. And although I didn't really, the rest was like phone cases and junk, but I'm like, I can make all my money back on this ink. And, I paid $26,000 for the load. When the load came in, the ink was all expired for 2 years. And I'm like, how does that make any sense? Has this been sitting on Target's shelf for 2 years? It doesn't make any sense. So, and I've launched a few disputes with this company, with these big guys. I never win them. And it's frustrating as a reseller, as a buyer, as a liquidator. It's very frustrating in the industry to have to deal with that all the time. And so my only option is not to deal with them, not to deal with them. So this brings trust and safety into the industry. And this is going to be a game changer. This is definitely going to be a game changer. So tell me, Shivang, if I'm a reseller, if I'm a seller of loads or a brand, how do we get our loads on your website?
Yeah, so in our philosophy is to get as close as we can to the source. So if the brand itself is selling or is sitting on access inventory, we always try to get directly to them so that we can get better pricing, more reliability, and transparency in how it would go. At the same time, there are a lot of honest resellers in the market who are actually trying to do really good work, and they stand by their word. So we vet them, we chat with them. Any resellers that we have on our platform selling our loads are someone who I've already personally spoken to. I already have anecdotes from other people that they stand by their words. The loads that they provide are good. So anyone can sign up on our platform and try to become a seller as well, but we have a very high bar of validation when it comes to it. So for instance, we have around 130 sellers that we have banned to sign up on our platform, just because we know that through scraping data through Reddit and other places that they have been bad actors. So we have a validation process we kind of put in place to see, do they have a direct contract with somebody, one of the biggest retailer? Have they been in business for long enough? Have they ever been in an instance where they have not met the terms and things like that? So our philosophy is to get as close to the source. So we I spend most of my time outreaching to retailers and brands directly, that if you want to directly sell your loads. But in many cases, when that is not possible, we go to direct contract holders. And below that layer, we never try to get into. And one thing that we have as a tenet is that we would never work with brokers, which is, if you don't own the load, you can't list that load because it's not your load to sell. So that's one thing. We never let. So if I have to kind of answer a question in one line, if that load is not on your P&L, it's not something that either sitting on your warehouse, if you already paid for, it's not something we would let you list on the platform, because then we can't guarantee that buyer experience where things would not fall off. When we ask you for samples or when we ask you to kind of provide the details, would you have them or not? So brokers are not something we entertain on our platform. That is the promise that we make to buyers as well, that hey, it won't be like where you submit an offer which is going to a broker who's going to their seller and going there and there. But at the same time, our end goal in the next 5 years is to have all the brands and retailers directly selling. We have some of them already doing it through us, but our overall philosophy is get as close to the source as you can. Don't be away from the source, and not to work with brokers.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah. All right. So Shivang, you're going to be at the WHSL wholesale show in Lexington, Kentucky this year. Tell me why did you choose the WHSL marketplace?
Yeah, I think it's an up and coming conference, which is very super niche, super curated for liquidation buyers and liquidation sellers. So that's the reason why we decided to exhibit there. Super excited to be there and showcase the product, talk to more buyers. The other thing that I liked about the show was it's super curated just for the kind of buyers we are looking for. So we won't be as part of a bigger noise and trying to promote our business out of hundreds of people. We know anyone who would be visiting that show would already be and would have the intent to either buy or sell distressed inventory. So that was the reason we decided to exhibit there. And when I got to know that you're promoting the show, and Damien is promoting the show, like it just made me make my decision even faster.
Great. Yeah, I mean, it's a much smaller show than other shows, but it's so much more intimate and direct. You're direct to everybody. We're all in the same place. We all meet up afterwards. We all network together, and it just brings so much value every time I go there. And no matter what capacity I go there in, I just get a ton of value out of it. So I am super excited to have you as part of the WHSL family. I mean, thank you for the tour of your website. That is incredible. It's revolutionary. It's a game changer in the industry. Everybody needs to go on there and sign up. If you're a seller or a buyer, sign up on the website, guys. So Shivang, how do people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very easily accessible on LinkedIn. It's just Shivang Maheshwari, so it's easier to find. Or they can write directly to me at Shivang@commercecentral.ai, which is SHIVANG at commerce, which is COMMERCE Central CENTRAL.ai. So, but the easiest way to find me is directly DM me on LinkedIn, and I'm easily available there.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for coming on today, Shivang. This is Tom and Shivang signing out from Liquidation Motivation, a collaboration with the WHSL Marketplace Show, April 21st and 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky at the Convention Center, guys. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Now go out there and make some money.